I am Carol Grant. I am Nicholas Grant's mom.
Hi, I'm Nick Grant, and I'm 18 years old. I go to Apollo Hospital. I'm a senior there, and I also work at a vision contractors.
The pregnancy with Nick was fairly normal up until the end. No issues, no problems. He was a month early. We had gone to the doctor that morning, did an ultrasound, everything was fine. That night I started having contractions, went to the hospital. My uterus ruptured. They're not exactly sure how long he went without oxygen, but he wasn't breathing when he was born. So they revived him, sent him to St. Mary's, and he was there for 8 weeks. And while he was there, they had to put the feeding tube in, and he had a trach for a year because he was aspirating on his saliva and stuff and wasn't eating, wasn't sucking, and they figured out he had cerebral palsy. It mainly affected his swallowing, but whenever he was born, they weren't sure what kind of brain development he would have, what kind of quality of life he would have. They really couldn't tell us much. They said we would just have to wait and see. As a parent, getting that diagnosis for your child, it felt very, very scary. You have dreams for your child and ambitions for your child, and, is he going to be able to have a normal life, and what kind of life is he going to have, and is he going to be able to do stuff, and you want your kid to have the best life they can, and you don't know. The doctors can't tell you anything. It's frustrating because you want answers, you want definites, and they can't give you that. He started Wendell Foster at 3. He did physical therapy, speech therapy. He's a very strong-willed child. He started crawling. Whenever they first started, his hands were closed. He started reaching for things, started grabbing things, started trying to talk a little bit. He was trying to put things in his mouth some, which was a huge thing. Over the years, he got more independent, putting his clothes on, brushing his teeth. He's achieved every goal that they ever put in front of him.
My relationship with Miss Michelle, who I have for all 17 years as a training, is absolutely wonderful. We have created a close friendship that nothing can ever take away. She's helped me so much over the years. She's a very big version of what I'm doing so well today. She's a great friend to me. She really encouraged me to be my best.
I started working with Nick when he was less than 2 years old. His skill level was pretty limited. We really weren't sure at that point how far he was going to be able to go in his accomplishments. It was hope for the best and, prepare for the worst. When I started with Nick, his swallowing was pretty much non-existent. Just being aware of things in his mouth and allowing things to touch his mouth was a very difficult process. His goal was to get his G-tube out and not have to be fed. So we worked really hard on that. And at one point he was still taking supplements, but he was taking them by mouth instead of in his tube. Now he doesn't take any supplements at all. He just eats regular food like you and I. Besides not being able to swallow, Nick also was nonverbal. He didn't have any speech or voice when I started with him. As you know, Nick is a very social guy, and for people to understand him at school, people outside his realm, his family, his friends, his therapists, people that didn't know him, for them to be able to understand him was a huge accomplishment. Now he's working and he goes to school without an aide. So being able to talk to people and be understood was a huge thing for him. As a therapist, one of my favorite parts of my job is being able to have a relationship with my patients and their families and develop that rapport. Nick has become like family, He comes to our family barbecues and he, hangs out. He calls me and lets me know what's going on in his world, whether it's good or bad, just to kind of act like a sounding board, because we have been together for a long time, and Nick is just amazing. So,
after 17 years, it felt wonderful to see him graduate from physical therapy and speech therapy. It was a goal that we'd worked towards, especially with the speech, with the swallowing and the eating and, eating by himself and being able to feed himself. That's a goal that we've worked on forever. And, you never feel like that you're going to reach that goal. And then to have him reach that goal, it's amazing. It's a wonderful feeling. The impact that Wendell Foster Center has had on our family has been amazing. We've been able to do things that we weren't sure we were going to be able to do. We travel as a family. We have a camper. We have a boat. We love to go to Kentucky Lake and hang out with the kids. We have a pool out here. He's able to swim. He has friends that he's able to hang out with. Wendell Foster has done more for us than we could ever imagine.
Wendell Foster has definitely pushed me to my limits, and I would not be here today if it wasn't for everything that my therapist did for me over me. And that definitely made me grow to the best version of myself that I can be.